I'm clicking over. Hey, Freddie.
What's happening, bro?
What's happening? How you doing?
It says Louis B on there.
It says Louis B just entered the waiting room. Shit, I don't see you.
That's
Let me see. I got a split.
here, wait 1 second. Could be mine.
Or I got a lag too on mine. Let's see. That I let you in, right?
Let's see.
Oh, there you are. Ah,
Here we go.
there he is.
How goes it, man?
And I'm good. I'm good. I'm loving life. You know, it shouldn't be this good. You know what I mean? Like I look back on the past and some of the choices that were made and you know, the stubbornness and all the dysfunctional shit that I didn't know I was still working out. I thought it was pretty sweet. You know what I mean? But it's too good, but it's not too good. You know, the ones that we get the lessons so we can learn them, and the ones who learn them, it's you get what you're supposed to get. It's karma. I love it. Life's good.
No,
How about
I
you?
believe it, man. It's true. We ended up pretty lucky, bro.
Our stories don't fit anywhere. Like when Hex will tell a story, I'm like, I gotta verify it. Like I gotta verify it. When I tell a story, I got my book coming out. I gotta call people and say, did that really happen? Like I don't, it's because it's like a dream, you know. But only
there's reasons why things seem like they were dreams, I think. But
well, I mean, there's stimulants, but you know, so I was diagnosed with severe PTSD in 2013. I'd had it my whole life.
really?
Yeah. I used to pride myself on my ability to say fuck it. There was a point in my life where it was around high school. I think I was 17. I just got out of juvie. When I moved to Hazel Park from Detroit, I was a white kid, talked black, fighting people all the time, all the way up until junior high. And then I just got sick of fighting people. So I was like, well, let me just be cool then. I started having parties and that kind of thing. And
Right.
And yeah, so it led to, so I started overcompensating for all my fears because I didn't have a father at the time. You know, my stepfather I rebelled against, and dad, I don't even know if he's alive, but so like I was just trying to find myself. Like I was out there trying to find myself, and I lost my train of thought. So Mark was there. What did I say? We were talking about something that mattered just a minute ago.
What you were saying was you had
PTSD.
Yeah.
I was talking about the PTSD. Fuck, man, don't let me lose this train of thought already.
You were telling the story on why you had PTSD.
Well, no, that was from my dad. My dad, that's why I had it. Oh, no, it was why. So I prided myself on my ability to say, fuck it. You know, I'd stand in a fearful situation and I'd just say, fuck it. Like I can die right now, but fuck it. Yeah, and it wasn't that I wanted to die. I had this, you know, you had it too. I think this invincibility complex.
Yeah.
Like we would just walk into shit, and I would work it out in my mind, all the different angles. One of them was always death, and I'd do it anyway. Lo and behold, that's a mental illness. That's fight or flight. That's all or nothing. Right. So I had lived my life like that. My metric was, well, I didn't die. That's not a healthy metric.
No.
You know what I mean? So
no, it might have seemed like it at the time, but yeah, definitely not the way to do things, I don't think.
Well, in our crowd, it was applauded, wasn't it?
I mean, yeah, that was just kind of like the way the shit went down, but
it's the way it made you legendary.
There was a lot of legendary shit that went down, and I mean, we all are pretty lucky that you know, for the most part, came out and had still connected. You know what I mean?
Yep. And to the ones that made it successful, got kids, I gauge success on you know, it doesn't have to be a kid, but there has to be a point in somebody's life where they start living for something other than themselves, and we do that for our art, right? But it's still kind of selfish in a little bit of way.
Yeah, for sure.
But our kids, man, when they come, I wasn't expecting it. I ain't never changing a diaper. That's the kind of shit I used to say when I ain't never changing a diaper. I don't have time for that. I'll get a nanny. Instant flip flop. Like I became the biggest softie, and and I didn't know what unconditional love was. I didn't know what that meant.
Right.
I didn't know that something could be that big to where you would say, fuck it all. This is what fulfills me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I mean, it's crazy because I always say that people, everybody always, I say like warned me.
Yeah.
But it was in a loving way, like, man, you have no idea. You have no idea what it's going to be like. And they were right,
You thought they were bullshitting though, didn't you?
I mean, I believed it because, I had, I had my nieces and nephews running around, and the way I felt about them, I could kind of, figure it out on my own. But no, until you're a parent yourself and you really see it. And then people did the same thing. So I had my son first, but then when people did it about my daughter, like, oh, wait, just wait, the girl's a different story, that type of thing. And I was like, that I didn't quite get as much. Yeah, I was like, no, I think I get it the way that I love my boys, but then, then I was like, oh yeah, they were right. They were really right. Like that
single tear falls out.
Everything's out the window, man. Everything.
It's a beautiful thing too. That's where it's so important. I was with PTSD. I was trying to run away from this thing my son was giving me, which in hindsight was unconditional love. I'm assuming that's what my dad ran from. It's a scary feeling when you don't know what it is. Yeah. You know what I mean? I wasn't open to it, and it was the birth of my son, ketamine, psychedelic therapy, and quantum physics. It's a weird mix, but those three things opened me up to the universe. I had an out-of-body experience over my son's high chair one day when I was on ketamine, because it does that. That's what it does. It induces near-death experiences at high psychedelic doses, and at lower doses, it's basically chemically induced transcendental meditation. So, but the visuals are the other realm or whatever. Yeah, it's not like acid visual. So I had this out of body experience where I'm standing over my son's high chair and I'm looking at my slobbing self who just fell down for a nap on the couch, and I looked at myself and I said, "Hey, you've been an asshole." But it was real loving, like super loving in the weirdest kind of way, to where I knew what that meant. I didn't know literally what it meant, but I just knew I had to do some backstepping and figure out, because I was real controlling. I was always trying to control my environment, egotistical, not because I was tough, but I was scared to let anything too close, because somebody might rob you, somebody might try to take this, somebody's going to talk shit. So I was always guarding myself from everything. And I've never been the same since. That was back in 2008. And I've been on this journey of, self-discovery, but doing it real abrasive, like we did the other shit. You know what I mean? I stand in the face of people who want to say, that's not you. Why not? We change. If we ain't changing.
Well, I guess that kind of makes sense though, because if you're that passionate an individual about one thing, when it's something that's that much more serious, like family, like fatherhood, if you take it with that same passion that you took other things, and it's that much higher of a level of understanding, and like you said, unconditional love. I mean, how else are you going to handle it but with utmost intensity? You know what I mean? So
I never thought about that either, but that makes sense. If you have an extreme personality, you're going to attack that. And that's what I wrote in this little blurb, is because I was just thinking about it, and I was trying to, we're going to talk about your new projects and NFT and all that stuff. But I was trying to equate we have somewhat similar experiences. They're different. We're individuals. We're from different places, but we did the arts thing, and we've achieved a moderate level of success. You're doing real well where you're at. Are you still doing the gig with K-Rock?
Yeah, man, absolutely. Nice. So I mean, nice. I've got 200 irons in the fire at all time, man. I'm staying really busy. So, but yeah, like you said, like very lucky, man, very lucky and very blessed to be, still operating in this business. You know what I mean? And being a creative person and living off it that's a pretty special thing. You know what I mean?
It's extremely special. Yeah, it's but it means something too. because when you look at our environment to come through it the way we did, I remember I was always awkward in that environment because I wouldn't do what the crowd said to do. I would stand my ground and I would do my thing, but I wasn't gonna lie to people. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't lie to people, wouldn't steal. When I was in the the international drug trafficking to not be a starving artist business, I wouldn't have violent things done to people. I remember paying my boys $30,000 debt because they were gonna kill them, and I paid it. And I said, "You're not killing anybody. I'm not having blood on my hands." So I always did, even though I was fucking up, and I was I was an international drug dealer. That's a literal thing. Like that happened. That's one of those things that's hard to stomach.
Yeah,
it's crazy. I was dealing with cartels directly, So it was crazy. I'm down in Juarez, me and my boy throwing money around when 50 Cent would come on in the bar and they're chopping people's heads off. Like I look at those days and I'm like, how they kidnapped his ass after that. It was crazy. But yeah, he's not in a good place. My partner, I think about that now.
I would think not.
He didn't have that level. He was in the game. Like he never kept a buffer. It wasn't a means to an end. Like I would put it all in acting, writing. I would fund my art, right? Yeah. And then when my kids came, I would fund my kids. I would never go too deep because too deep meant you're giving your life to it when eventually they catch you or somebody kills you. Yeah. So I always kept a buffer, but I always kept integrity too. I never told on anybody. I never honor among thieves. And I think people that have that kind of honor and don't step over this line of victimizing people, I think there's a silver lining for us. I don't know what that looks like, but looks like that for you, maybe.
I know what you're saying. I agree. I agree with what you're saying for sure, man. I mean, there's something that comes down to the to the character of a person, to their spine and their heart, and what kind of person they are, and and we all made and make, people make bad decisions, you know what I mean? But when it comes down to it, there's like a soul, your soul, right? And what your soul wants is an end result. I think that's where you truly find what kind of person somebody is. You know what I mean? People make mistakes, people do dumb shit, people do wild shit, crazy shit, but at their heart, that's where it really comes from, is what I'm saying.
And how equipped they are to follow it, because I'm a heavy study in trauma by default. For me to heal myself, I had to dig in. Yeah. I made a decision. I said, my son's not going to watch me having these flashbacks. These patterns don't make any sense, and I can't live this way. So I would rather die. And I'm not taking your medication. And so I started reading books, and I got familiar with Bessel van der Kolk. He wrote Body Keeps the Score, best book on trauma ever written. But when I read it, I learned what the brain does to people with trauma, even moderate levels of trauma, and how those mechanisms work. So we got a society that lives in their defense mechanisms, right? It's by design. Everybody's scared of losing their job. They're scared. They're made to think their neighbor of a different color might take this, and we're a fear-based society. So in fear, you can't expand. It's not possible because you get stuck right on the precipice of fight or flight at all times. Your brain, the monkey mind hasn't evolved past survival. So that's all it knows. So if you can't get up into the neocortex, the part that makes us human, we're definitely not getting to the frontal lobe where all our good decisions are stored. So most of human society is living in that space to where all we're doing is arguing with each other to defend our subconscious faulty programming. And we can't even get to the logic because we won't admit that we're all traumatized.
I saw a dude, you know who that Gary V dude is?
Yeah.
You hip to him?
Vanderchuck, yeah.
Okay. So he said that one of the problems with people is that they're too stuck with or. So it's like, well, I think this is cool. No, but I think this is cool. So it's like, it's either one or it's two. It's either this is cool or this is cool, or either this this is right or this is right.
Right.
Republicans are right. Democrats are right. One or the other. But he's saying the problem with so much of us is that it can be and, it could be this is right and this is right. Now, I'm not saying, I'm not being political at all.
Right.
But what I'm saying is that
it's a good metric, though.
It's fear. Like you're saying, people live off fear. People are wrapped up in, the anxiety in our world and our culture. Like, when we were kids, I think everybody's got anxiety. Everybody's built into us. But the amount of kids that are like diagnosed with anxiety now, that's
given medication.
It's sick.
Given medication. My son, during the pandemic, he said he wanted to kill himself. And that's enough. That's enough. He's out there trying to hang himself in a tree, but not really. He should. But what this says is this poor kid, he knows something's wrong. He doesn't know how to fix it. So he just wants to get out of here.
Yeah.
Was he going to carry it out? I don't know. But he went to the mental ward. So they immediately prescribed him. It was Paxil and Trazodone. And they wanted to give him one more. I'm like, no. I'm like, you guys let him in, and I'm trying to not be, an anti-vaxxer here, but I do have a certain amount of knowledge, and the last thing you should do is give somebody chemicals that are meant to alter their brain chemistry permanently before you observe them.
Right.
But they have a formula. They want something to attack they want the dopamine attack, they want the serotonin attacked, and then they want trazodone to put them to sleep, or some kind of something. Something that'll put them down.
Yeah.
And that's every kid. It's every kid. So he did that during the pandemic, and he was saying how it was stressing him out. I wasn't listening because I'm an adult and I'm thinking, Vinny, I'm thinking he's making excuses, right? But he's really he doesn't know how to manipulate that. So he's really telling me that, Dad, I don't know what's going. That's all he has. And then, so I'm not listening. He's not being heard. So he feels in his own house that he doesn't have anybody, right? And he's got everything's been pulled out from under him with COVID. So we get to the hospital when he makes his attempt, and we're stuck in the emergency room because there's no adolescent beds available in Michigan. It was that's when my heart sunk, and it was a valuable lesson for both of us, because he's talking to me saying, Dad, I think I need a brain scan. And he's a funny kid, right? So I'm like, oh, you don't need a brain scan. Since he was a kid, he's been saying, I have crippling, anything on YouTube. Oh, I have crippling depression or shit like that. He's always saying that shit funny. Right. But he was being serious about the brain scan. And I thought he was being funny, and I was dismissing the COVID thing. And it was so bad that there were no beds available. Twice he had to wait in the emergency room for like 3-4 days just for a bed to open for a kid. It's insane.
Dude, that's sick, bro.
All of them, they're prescribing shit too. It's methodical. They're giving them it. They can't get their brain chemistry back. Once they addict them to that, like, they don't even have an opportunity now to navigate through, unless it's moderate doses. But you know what they didn't say is check his diet. You know what I mean? They didn't say involve him in these activities that'll make the brain balance. He's in Brain Balance. It's a program that most people don't know about because big insurance won't cover it, because it's wellness, no chemicals. And it's all about how the two hemispheres of the brain don't communicate, because that they get stunted. Their growth gets stunted when they're younger. One hemisphere of the brain starts to grow further than the other. That's anybody.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So what it really is, it's not serotonin, dopamine. It's that this side's bigger, this side's smaller. Now it can't communicate over the lobes, right? So what they do is they expedite the growth in the weak side. They test, they run the scans. Yeah. So Vinny is now it's night and day. He's a new kid. I also took him to do MEO5 DMT.
Really?
Yeah. So I've been heavy in the spiritual practices, right? Ayahuasca. When the practice, I won't do it by myself because that's stupid. But when the practitioners are in town, I'm there. So I've done ayahuasca ceremonies with some really good guys, and MEO5 MEO DMT. So Toad. Have you heard of it? Mike Tyson talk about Toad?
Yeah, I've heard Tyson talk about it, and I've heard about it here and there. Shit scares me to death, but
but you know what? It's the best fear in the world because you pierce the veil and you sit in this space and then you're like, oh shit, that's what it is. What the I keep getting the message, what the fuck are you so afraid of? Have some fun. Yeah, it's rough out there, but have some fun because you sit in a space where it's just one. Like you get to the truth of who we are, and you think you're going to have all these questions. There's no questions. You just sit there, and everything is perfect. And you get to bring that back into this reality, and maybe do something with it. So, Vinny went through a shit, and I asked the practitioner when I was there because I know this is a rite of passage for Sonoran kids at 13. I said, my son's 12. He attempted suicide. Would you treat him? He says, yeah, but you can't convince him. Just ask him. And if it's for him, he'll feel called. And he's scared of everything. He's got, even when he's not, he wants to believe he is. So I told his mom, I said, hey, see if he wants to do it. But just keep the definition or the explanation real brief and let him say yes or no. He said yes. I was like, what the fuck? So we went and did it. And this is mind blowing because
I was just going to say, just so you know, my mind's blown. I don't know, bro. I love you to death, bro, but I don't know about all that. That's crazy to me. He's 12.
Yeah, he's 12.
And it was
12. This is nothing compared to what they give a kid that they say as a listening problem in school.
That's true too. I guess that's the thing is that I gotta kind of, adjust lack of a better word, my paradigm of the way that I see, you know what I mean?
You did there.
But for real, yeah. But for real though, because why is it okay for all the stuff that you can get that they give them at CVS, right?
But not for the thing that can't kill you.
Right.
And it doesn't do anything to you. It doesn't alter your chemistry. All it does, we produce DMT in the brain anyway.
Right.
All it does is it gives you a push of the DMT. It allows it to come out as if you're dying. So it's scary because you're being ripped from your five senses. And
right.
that's what happens in transcendental meditation anyway.
Right.
And not all the time, but when you get there, or in the float tank, you're just in this, time and space collapses. There's no questions. And you're just in this, it's pretty beautiful. You probably had it when you wrote that song, right? Like that, or that piece of poetry that just fucking hits you.
Yeah.
Like you get that moment where everything's perfect.
Yeah.
And then you're always trying to get that back. Like, give me that shit.
Yeah.
So you get to sit in that space for an extended period of time. That's where I learned unconditional love was real. And I couldn't deny it after that. Like when I got back here, I couldn't deny what I had just felt. It was the deepest truth I'd ever had in my life. And I couldn't deny it. So that changed it. But for Vinny, so you ask Vinny how he is. I don't know. And he's a teenager, right? He just turned.
Yeah.
But he's a teenager that tried to kill himself during the pandemic. So there's a deep level of concern for those answers because he doesn't think he's worth anything. We're pioneer parents with pioneer kids who got 24/7 hour bullying cycle and dopamine fix through this right here, this thing right here, these devices.
Right.
Like their screen addiction is massive.
Oh, it's awful, man.
It's horrible. So Vinny, he's been told that he's not worth anything unless he consumes, buys this, does this. So he believes it. He goes and does this toad thing. You got to smoke it. He's never smoked, and it's harsh. He did it, and he went to that place. Now he doesn't know how to. He doesn't know how to come back and explain this shit to anybody. He doesn't know how to do that. But he was different. So the next day, he took his sister's piano out of her room keyboard, and I go downstairs to see because she was complaining about it. She don't even play it. Want to see what he was doing. The guy had all the keys marked up with blue tape. And he had a tutorial on his TV screen and on his computer. And he was going back and forth between these screens. And he was going back over and playing some shit. And I'm like, I'm going to leave you alone. So I left him alone, came back down, fucking kids belting out horror scores. Because he's a big horror fan. I'm like, you kidding me? And he wanted to die the week before that. He had just got out of the hospital. And later that week, he made dinner for us. You know, he's been fine. Not fine. We're always gonna have to work.
No. I got you. But I know what you're saying though. More fine than before.
Yeah. He he doesn't believe the bullshit. You know what I mean? He saw something. He doesn't know what he saw, but he carried it back with him to where that nihilism, that darkness, it doesn't make sense to him anymore. I recommend it to anybody.
I mean, hey man, I would definitely have to do a lot more research. But,
you should.
But yeah, man, I've heard about it a little bit. Like you said, I know Mike Tyson mentioned it, and my boy Ern turned me on to what's his name, Aubrey. He's all over social media, Aubrey Michaels or something like that, and he's all.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, man, it's interesting, man. At this point, I mean, me personally, I'm like, I'm good as far as all that goes for right now. But you know, I'm always interested in reading up and educating myself on whatever's next. You know.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt for kids. When they wanted to give them all that shit, I went to my ketamine because I'm still in ketamine therapy. It's legal now. When I was on it.
No, I saw that. I saw that.
So we're going on a ketamine retreat, first one of its kind ever. It's kind of like ayahuasca. The reason ketamine is kind of taking hold is because drug companies can patent that. They can't patent psilocybin, right? No. So now they're latching on. They're like, we know antidepressants are going to be a thing in the past. We better grab onto the chemical. So ketamine will wind up taking the forefront. But I started calling everybody because I know the alternatives work way better. They're only alternatives because they kill big pharma, because you don't need antidepressants. Once it was changed and I could see clearly, I just instinctively knew not to do some of the stupid shit, right?
So are you still, you don't take any medications, like, you know?
No, I have a prescription for Ativan 0.5 milligram. I can't remember. A year ago I filled it. Yeah, so it's as needed, and I'll only take that if it's a night where I'm trying to get sleep, or you know what I mean, like. Right. So yeah, no, I've never taken anything, and I've been. Man,
that's great. So that's. I mean, I think that's the key. Then it's whatever works for the individual. So, you know, I think that's great, man. And I think the further, you know, like that's one thing, you know, when you get to a certain age, if you can, the less medication that you are on and that you have in your body, the longer you're going to live and the better off you're going to be. Because at some point, all that shit catches up with you, all of it.
It has to, and I don't see how people could think otherwise, right? It's got to catch up. It's not, and the brain ones, that's not a direct science, right? No. So scientists, they'll admit they don't know the brain. They thought by 2029 they'd have the brain reverse engineered. They're not even close. Right. They're not even close. And what they call the hard problem is consciousness. So they can't even tell you where you come from, but they know everything, right? Right. So they're going in there and fucking around with this mechanism, and they don't even know what it is. That's insane. Yeah. That's insane.
Yeah, that's true.
True. But that's the world we live in. So how's the project's coming out in September?
I don't have a date yet. No.
Period.
It's something. Yeah. Kind of like a play on a paragraph. The end of a paragraph would be a period.
Mm-hmm. I got it. As soon as I read it, I'm like, that's dope.
But yeah, you know, I guess it came down to the fact that you know, with fatherhood and my life being so different, and I haven't put out music in a long time, I don't want to leave my legacy with what I have put out in so many levels. Number quality wise, of course, but then content wise, like, you know, my kids go back and want to listen to my music. I don't want them listening to the music that I made in 2001. It's not me. You know what I mean? It's not me. And you know, it's just like, it's a maturity, right?
Right. That was an unmatured version of you.
Yeah.
And you had things to learn, and you had a lot of trauma to suffer, consequences to suffer before you got to be you.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it's like, it's a much more relaxed creativity. You know what I mean? It's just being yourself and not, and the good thing is that being at this point in my life, I don't have to prove shit. You know what I mean? Right. I don't have to prove shit to anybody. I'm putting out music because I want to.
And you don't have to jump through hoops for some corporation. I'll put it out when I want to. There's no release date. When it's out, it's out.
When it's
I'm
done and I'm happy with it. Exactly. Yeah.
It's out there.
And it's, you know, you get to make it in the comfort of my own home. Thank God to, you know, modern technology and COVID.
Yeah.
And, you know, work with the people I want to work with, people that are my friends. And, you know, it's, you know, it's coming together slowly but surely. But, you know, like we were saying, there's, you know, I can't just pop into a studio and sit there all day either, because there's, you know, the kids need to be raised, and other jobs are, you know, my wife's in school, she's finishing up going to law school. Like, we're, you know, life is happening, but that's great, because then it reflects in the music, you know.
So we're very similar, and we're where we are now too, because so the book that's coming out is called Memoirs of an American Wannabe, and it's about my life. So it's
that's great.
From poverty, deep poverty in Detroit to Hollywood. So embarrassed to be poor that I started trafficking drugs. I was risking my life and my freedom, so people couldn't make fun of me for being poor. So they wouldn't know my horrible secret. Everybody knew anyway. You know what I mean? And then I achieved the moderate level of success, and then I ran. Like, I couldn't be in that business. I'm not going to say it here, but when I got this big movie, I didn't show up to the meeting with the investors, and I said I was sick. I didn't go because I knew I was going to kill myself, because it was with my dream people. You know, there's some heavy hitters that I knew that I was those people. Like, that's my clique of movie makers. Yeah. And I'm not ready for that. I'm going to kill myself. So I didn't show up at the meeting, and I bounced, you know what I mean? And I ever since, I've been the same as you, in that I'm just going to write the book, and I'm going to write it as it happens to me. And I don't have an agenda. I don't need to push this many units. If it's only my kids that read it, great. But I'm going to say something, because somebody will come back and they'll be able to talk about the craziness. But if I didn't do anything with that craziness, it's a wasted life.
But
right?
Doug, see, that's the thing. And that's the key right there to any kind of creative, business or not even business, any kind of creativity. As soon as you start doing it because you want to do it, and do it the way you want to do it, and have no care about what anybody else thinks about it, that's when you create the right way. And you know that.
Yeah.
And I think so many people, I remember being, you know, a young artist, and it makes me sick to even say it out loud, but I remember being in the studio and being like, we need that radio song. We need that radio joint. Who's going to cultivate that radio? My God, those were always the absolute most garbage shits on every record, was the ones that we thought was the radio joint. It was always the shit that was terrible.
Yeah.
And then it was the ones when I would goof off, and like Guinness and Armor All and Broke and things like that, when I was like literally just having fun and making a song just because it was like felt fun that day, or I was in that mood that day. That's the ones that people be like, that's my shit. That's my shit. That's my shit. You know? So just like that with the book, as soon as you're like, I don't need to impress a publisher. I don't need to impress the dude at Barnes and Noble with his latte. I'm writing this because Vinny wants to write it. That's when you write the right shit.
And it's really what matters at the end of the day, because we spend our entire lives people think you can chase happiness and achieve it. You can't. Happiness is just an emotion, like every other emotion. It's not achievable in any sustained state, but you can achieve peace, right? Tranquility in the moments between the peak experiences, when you know that the pain is just as important as the joy, right? Pain is necessary. The Buddhists would say that pain is necessary, suffering is a choice. So we don't have to suffer. But it's going to be painful. Like, shit's going to happen. My son committing suicide. If I dealt with this suicide, and through this whole thing, I'm wanting this situation to be anything different than what it is. And I want my son to be different than who he is, rather than dealing with the circumstance as it is right in that moment, and listening and seeking to understand. and getting out of my own fucking way and saying, "Oh, this shouldn't happen to my kid." Why the fuck? No, it did. So there's a reason. So let's commit fully to understanding this, and then maybe you can be of value to your son and the universe around you.
Yeah.
So we do in art, we do a huge disservice because I did that in Life Goes On too and fucked the movie up. You know, listening to other people. I think people like this and all that ending is, you know what I mean? And I was listening because I was chasing money in Hollywood, but I didn't know that as an artist, I was soul searching. Like I was doing my own therapy, and I ran away from that fucking business. I could have taken it to the next level on that movie, and I didn't like it. I didn't like the people. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I'm still an artist. Still, my soul.
That doesn't change if you really are. That doesn't go away. That's not something you get to pick or choose or turn on or off. That's just creators create. That's just the nature of the beast.
Take that away, then you might die. You know, I can't see me ever making that choice.
No,
don't create anything for the rest of your life.
Literally, there's like they say, like the things that are necessary for a human is water, food, human connection, and for creatives to create. So
go ahead. Sorry.
No. So I'm just saying it's like a necessity to a creative. So
did you ever read Somewhere Better Than Here?
No.
I don't know if Somewhere Better Than Here is a script I wrote a long time ago, and now it would be a period piece because it was about bringing marijuana from Mexico to here.
Yeah.
But it was like a long poem. The characters that made it out of that story, they dreamt of somewhere better than here. They didn't know where it was, but they wanted to be somewhere better than where they were.
Right.
And so what you just said, the character that makes it at the end, he writes. There's this long monologue, and he says, "You can take away food, water, you can take away shelter, but you take away my dreams, I'm a fucking dead man." You know what I mean? Like,
there you go. Yeah.
So. But I can't wait to hear your new album because I bet you that might be a soundtrack to Memoirs of an American Wannabe. You know what I mean?
And that's and it is, and I think the whole thing is that like before, but much more relevant now is that it's a mirror put to life, right? So my life now is much different than my life then.
Yeah,
but in thank God, a much better way. But it's also a good way to be like this to that part of who I am as an artist. You know what I mean? I do a lot of writing for other people now. You know, it's just as paradigm. I'd like to, I just like to wrap it up, kind of. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's cool because it's not. You wouldn't listen to it and be like, ugh.
Yeah.
Like what's this song like playing with the kids? Is that it's not that, but it's it's definitely a reflection, but put to the light that you would want it to be. It's like adult contemporary hip hop, I guess you could say, or something like that.
There's a space for it, man. Because Lecrae, Lecrae.
Yeah,
I like a lot of his stuff. He's heavy on the God thing, but there's a space for that. And there's a space
for anything that's real. Whenever there's something that's real, there's a place for it. You know what I mean?
Unfortunately, sometimes you got donkey shows in fucking Tijuana. I mean, there's always a space for something, but then there's that undercurrent that fucking when an artist goes out there and just puts it all out there like you're doing. You never know if that's going to be the thing that latches on, because typically what people wind up latching onto is things that they feel, but they haven't admitted in themselves.
Right.
So I mean, it's funny on my Instagram. So for everybody, you know what? I don't even know how to check comments on this shit, but I will later, and we'll get to everybody. And I posted your information, but yeah. So I ran into you at that kid's birthday party, right?
Yeah.
I hadn't seen you in years, and you're looking good, by the way.
Did you lose more weight? What's that?
Did you lose more weight?
Yeah.
Did you? Yeah, man. I need to.
I'm trying to live now, bro.
That's what we were talking about.
Picking up kids.
Yeah, Dad. being a dad, you want to. I believe atrophy is a choice. I think we get to decide if we want to wither away, like we told we are going to.
Right,
and
right.
I ain't doing it. I'm going to increase the positives and hope. But yeah, looking good. You're doing your thing.
Thanks, man.
What were we talking about before that? Fuck. How do I keep losing? We'll get back.
We're talking about donkey shows in Tijuana and the mushrooms shows. And something. I don't know. Yeah, you were talking about donkeys on ketamine or something.
Oh, that's fucking sweet. Donkeys on ketamine. That's, we get 3 million fucking views in a day on that shit on YouTube if we had a video named Donkeys on Ketamine. Name your album Donkeys on Ketamine.
Yeah, I don't know if I can go that far. I don't know if I can go that far.
That's fucking crazy. Because it's true. It's crazy because it's true.
Yeah.
So I met you at the birthday party, and it's funny. Jude said the same thing to me, but Jude just says, "Hey, I be peeping your Instagram." That's what Jude says.
Yeah, right.
He's not gonna like anything in public.
Right. Yeah, he's not gonna be like, "Oh, that's like that thing you put today about a dad." Like, man, I love shit like that. Like, because it is so true. It's so like people have no idea. You know what I always like? The other day, my daughter was in my arms and I did a little selfie of her, and I was thinking about posting it, and I did. And I'm not big on social media like I used to be, but I thought about like in the days where dudes would hold up pistols in their MySpace pictures. Remember when everybody did that?
Yeah.
Like, to be like, "Oh, I'm dangerous."
Yeah.
And I just thought to myself, I was like, this shit makes me more dangerous than anything. You know what I mean? Like the protection over my family, my children, my wife, my family outweighs anything that I ever thought I was badass about. You know what I mean? So
because you won't back out of that. You won't back out of the protection. You won't back out of the protection. You can't see under any circumstance where you wouldn't do what was absolutely necessary to protect one hair on their head.
Right.
It's unfathomable.
Yeah.
But if somebody fucking says some dumb shit, you might change your album. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right. I mean, there's no. Yeah, man. I mean, there's some things that don't change, but it just,
I know what that is.
Like you look at things smarter now. You know what I mean? I'm much more smarter, much more elevated than I was then. And
me too. And
my blood pressure's lower.
Is it? So it's
gotta be. Jesus, man, who knows?
I mean, that's what happens. So people kind of ease in. It's not easy because for me, I had that come to Jesus, come to ketamine moment, whatever you want to say. And I knew right then, I knew that I was wrong. I knew that I had to make adjustments and it was going to be a process. Some people think that when you have that moment, that moment of clarity, that it's supposed to get easy because you know it. That was my big mistake and that's always been my mistake. I think I can think my way out of problems. You can't because of what I said. If you're in your defense mechanisms, you're not even getting into your neocortex. So you're living in your defense mechanisms and you can't think about it logically. You physically cannot do it. That's what I was able to give myself a lot of grace for all the dumb shit I did when I realized I was a product of my environment for so many years. I didn't know I had PTSD. I didn't know I was angry. I would yell at the people and want to fight them who told me I was angry because they were so wrong.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Sense. Yeah.
But I was like, I look back now and I'm like, man, I was fucked up. It wasn't until I got to LA that I started seeing people were different. Like you can have an argument without having to break a bottle over someone's head. That was weird to me. I'm like, what? Like they just pushed each other and hugged. What the fuck?
Yeah, this is weird. Yeah,
this is some weird shit. No one's shooting it. I mean,
they're still shooting, but
they are. Well, they are still. They're shooting more now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, just not out in LA. They're talking about it.
Right.
LA, it's a well, that's not true. I'm talking about Hollywood.
Right.
Yeah, once I got there,
whole different podcast.
Yeah, that is a whole different podcast. Yeah, superpowers. You got those superpowers now. Nobody can tell you shit. Like it's good. Isn't it good to know the truth? Like there's something. There are no truths in the realm of phenomena, right? We're here. The only truth that's perpetual and permanent in on the earth plane is change. That's
Yeah.
always going to happen.
That's
It's the only thing that always happens. Nothing else is permanent.
Yeah.
Change is the only thing permanent. So once you know that, then you can let go of the attachment to the things you think are fixed, right?
Yeah.
Like my son's not supposed to be unhealthy. Yes, he is, and you're supposed to be there for him, and that's going to give you guys superpowers.
And like you
You
said,
know?
that goes back to what you said about the pain versus the suffering, right? So
Yeah.
you know that situation brought you pain. How do you deal with it from there? That's where the suffering, do you suffer or do you move forward and crush it out and fix what's wrong?
You move forward. You know, the hard realization though is that when you know you don't control people, places, or things, right? They'll say it in the 12-step programs all the time, and that you can't. We try, like me, I tried to control my environment out of fear, and I had the illusion that I did pretty good. I didn't, because you can't. People do what people do. Things do what they do. I can't control my son. I can't control the influences. I can try my best, and having to come to grips with your 13-year-old's mortality is hard. But if
I can't even, like, on a serious tip, I can't even fathom. I've friends that have, kids and will tell me little, situations they're going through. I just can't even, like, the way that I feel. So I feel for you, dude, that you even had to go through that. That's fucking terrible. That's terrible.
Well, I'm glad it was a quick.
But I'm also glad for Vinny's sake that your head is screwed on the way that it's screwed on, so that you handled it properly. You know what I'm saying? Or the way that you found was the best way.
I'm not crumbling,
No.
I could be. At first I was projecting my experience. Well, I broke that cycle, but I do all this, and I'm not saying it to him so much, but I'm just saying it.
Yeah.
And I'm projecting my experience onto this kid that's lost.
Yeah.
But that's the visceral response, right? That's the defense mechanism. And through cognitive processing therapy, I've learned to question that always. So I thought I could think my way out of problems, and you can't. So I had to learn to feel the visceral response first, because that's what was going to lead to the flashback, the visceral response. So now when I get that response, and I know it's not connected to reality, so the response comes, and I'm like, oh, and then I'll say, is this connected to now? And there's a few questions. Is this real? Is this connected to right now? Could this possibly be connected to something in your past? Because you work out your traumas. And 95% of the time, when I feel that deep visceral response to where I'm ready to act right now, like it's life or death, but it's not life or death, right? I just dropped my kids off at school, and I feel like I'm abandoning them. It's not life or death, but I feel life or death. So I don't have to crumble, right?
Yeah.
And I have to, and in that I can be empowered for him. And I looked him in the face. I said, because he kept trying to push his diagnosis. He really wants them to be true. And maybe they are, but let's try not to have that. But he's a 13-year-old. So I said, Vinny, look, I said, I love you more than anything, but I'm not attached to this outcome. I don't know what happens here. If you want to kill yourself, you're going to do it. People that really want to kill themselves, they do it. You have that power. So that's a powerful thing. You can do it whenever you want to do it. I'm going to miss you if you go, and it's going to tear me down. But I'm going to move on. I'm going to move on, and I'm going to know that I gave my best effort. Because, and if you don't understand that, I can't expect you to. You're a kid, but I love you, and I'm just going to keep filling you with love. And hopefully, in that time, you don't decide to leave me. You know what I mean? And that's how I left it. And I meant it. I meant it.
Of course you did. Of course you did.
But it's hard, because I go through all these exercises where that's my son, but
are you kidding me?
Shit. If I'm talking the spiritual shit, I got to walk it. You know what I mean? I got to find a way to not suffer in that. That doesn't mean you don't feel pain, but you take that pain and you bring it into the new experience, and it's what art is, right?
Yeah.
You take that pain into the new experience, and maybe you save somebody's life, right?
Yeah.
They don't feel alone because they just heard what you said.
Right. Well, look, man, I don't, we both were in a real tumultuous time together. Like, I think that, like, when you and I were hanging out, that was probably one of the sloppiest times in my life. You know what I mean? Like that was a messy time.
Really,
And
me too.
it's really, really good. And it's really it makes me happy that you're doing so well and that you got your head on the way that you got your head on. I mean, I'm proud of who I am. You know what I mean? I'm real proud of the person that I become and the transformations that I've made as a person. I'm still the same person. You know what I mean? I'm not, but I'm so glad that I picked the roads that I picked from that point on, because that did shape me. You know what I mean? Like the shit that we did then still shaped who we are now.
Yeah.
There's mistakes that we made that other people didn't get a chance to make.
Right.
Decisions that we made that other people would have loved to have made and learn the mistakes from, right? But it's really for lack of a better word, beautiful thing that we both are talking right now and talking here and not like in the fucking afterlife. You know what I mean?
Right.
So cheers to me and fucking you, bro. You know what I mean? So I'm really happy for you. When I see your shit on Instagram, whatever, like the positive, deep intellectual takes that you do on things, man, it's really makes me happy, man. It's good shit. It's really good shit. I'm happy for you.
When I heard that from you, when I hear it from you and Jude and Hex will say it in his own way, right? Like,
yeah, he'll tell you that when he tells you that you're stupid, that's basically like, I love you. So that's
all love. Yeah. I got that from him this weekend. I'm like, yeah, I had Freddie on, and I can't remember what he said. He
just said he's stupid or he drinks pee or something like that. I'm sure.
Threw a monkey emoji in there.
Yeah.
But you know, when I hear it from people that have made it out of this, you know, some are worse for the wear, but people that took those lessons and brought it into a lot of them fatherhood. Like I see a lot of my friends who were knuckleheads. We're lucky. We're lucky to be alive.
So lucky, bro. So lucky.
I can't. So the fact that we're here and we can translate that into parenthood. We're creating this new generation. So we have access to the internet. We've never had that in the way that we do. These kids are pioneer kids. They have access to it all the time. Now we have to navigate them through that social media addiction. It can be positive because if you're in Detroit, where I grew up, and there's no meditation. You don't know what that is. It doesn't go anywhere. But now if somebody is taught, hey, why don't you look this up? They can go to it and they'll find their people. At the same time, you can find out Earth's flat and you find those people. Right. You know what I mean? Or you can find out whatever you want. But if we're able to navigate people toward the things that will make them grow, then we got power here. Yeah. But you know, so it's a beautiful thing that and we're still in this art space. I mean, for me, for some reason, I don't have to be. You know what I mean? You're not doing it for the money. I mean, but there's something valuable, and we say it's our kids, but I think it's our kids and their friends. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like they're different. They're different. They have so much information now. Oh my God. If we can help them navigate that bombardment of information,
oh yeah,
they can change this fucking planet.
I learned from all three of my kids, like things that I'm like, I'll say, no, that's not the way that it is. No, you don't do it like that. And then like 2 days I'll be like, yeah, that's the way they do it. I have no fucking idea.
Yeah. Well, even learning less, my kid, they were the biggest teachers for me when I was going through probably the biggest rough patch, because I was having this hard transition into. So when I had Vinny, it was we did cut print. It was right after cut print. So that's when Vinny, 2008. So we had the film incentives here, right? For 3 years, we were booming. And so I'm thinking, we're never leaving this place. This is fucking sweet. Had Sophia. Then Snyder comes in, rips the incentives. Now I'm out in Michigan and it dries up. There's no money out here. I can't be a full-time artist anymore. My art's gone back home, right? So, but I got these two kids. And this is the same time where I had the option to do this movie and I didn't. I had a decision. Am I going to go back to LA, be a paycheck dad? Am I going to take my kids to LA and try to raise them in that cesspool as a single father?
Fuck no.
Or am I going to stay here and be a dad and do my art as I see fit? And so that's what I did, but I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I didn't know how to not call myself an artist, right?
Like,
No,
I can't, bro. You can't. That's not a choice that you get. If you're an artist and you figure out that you're an artist, you're just an artist. It's like you don't have a left leg. You just don't have a fucking left leg. That's just it. Period. If you're an artist, you're an artist. You.
That's a great way to say it, because I felt like I was missing a limb. Yeah. So, and I had too much pride, foolish pride, to go get a job because no, I'm this, so I should be able to find. No, motherfucker, you got kids.
That happens, man.
Yeah, and it's the best thing ever. It's the best thing ever because it helped kill the ego. That was one of the things where, and you know, when I finally said I'm not going, it had been a long time since I'd smelled poverty, deep poverty, and it was there right on my doorstep. It was the universe saying, "This is a neural pathway you're going to have to open up. You're more than an artist. You're everything." So they gave me these kids that they said, fuck your ego, fuck your label that you say you are. You might be that, but you don't have to not do other things because of it.
Doesn't matter, man. Everything's out the window. Everything goes out the window.
And it did. And you know, I just threw caution to the wind, stepped into this insurance restoration business. And you know, it's crazy, but I shouldn't even be in restoration. I was always in my fucking roughneck neighborhood. I was the pretty boy, smooth Hollywood. You know what I mean? You don't want me with a hammer on your fucking roof, right? Still to this day, but I own a multi-million-dollar company now because I said I just got to do something for these kids, and I don't care what it is. Fuck my ego if it works. But what it turns out being is I get to beat up insurance companies for the little people. Like it is
real too. Now listen. Here's the other thing too, is that in essence, that really is, you created a way for you to remain creative.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
So while it's the foolish pride point is right, but your brain, there's a starving artist, but at a certain point, if you're a parent and you really give a shit like you should, being a starving artist isn't a choice. Being an artist isn't a choice either. So it's dumping the foolish pride and having the pride of being the father that you're supposed to be and making it so you can be the creative that you need to be. And you create a space. I created my space. You created your space, so we can do what we're supposed to do, but at the same time provide for the people in our family that need us.
And that's the most fulfilling, you know.
Yeah.
They didn't ask to come here. I remember I was going through this. I was having my flashbacks probably 4 times a year, and I was checking out off the face of the planet. Usually it was alcohol, and I didn't drink on a daily basis. So I would be blacked out for like 2 weeks. And it was bad. It was bad. I'd just be gone and break my phone, lock the doors, isolation. I couldn't see it coming. I just didn't see it. There was no lead into that. But it was Vinny. I looked at it, I'm like, I don't care what it is. I was going into shit that I know I'm not a gambler. I don't even gamble. Right? But I'm gonna check out that 12-step because maybe there's something there. Like I was going to everything, trying to figure shit out because Western medicine didn't have shit for me. They kept wanting to give me all these fucking drugs, and they'd have me fill out these questionnaires. Well, maybe you're bipolar. The fuck do you mean maybe? Because 3 of the questions were yes. Fuck you. I don't know a person.
There's a little bit more to it than
yes.
that.
The fuck? So you're gonna give me that drug? And they tell me, I remember this doctor, he said, well, give it 30 days. I was like, I know. Did you just tell me to addict myself to your medicine? Like you're telling me to
trust me. If you take a drug for 30 days, you're hooked on it now.
Yeah, you're hooked on it.
That's how that works.
Fucking guy. But yeah, man.
Yeah, man. I do gotta bounce. I gotta cut short, but you and I gotta come back and do the NFTs thing.
Yeah, we do.
I need to discuss more stuff, and I'm gonna get you some of the new music too, so that you can get a grasp on it. I want to come back and talk more. I got my wife's got some LSAT stuff, you know, she's going to law school. She's about to kick its ass. So anytime she needs to study for LSAT shit, I'm like, fuck yes, whatever you need.
I got you. That's that superpower shit. Yeah, we'll talk more for sure.
Yeah, but I do want to go. I do want to reiterate and say I'm really happy for you, man. It's good to talk to you. You know, we've seen each other in a couple different lights, and it's good to see each other at this light at this age. You know what I mean? You look good. You're healthy. You're doing well. Family's right. Your head's right. That shit's important, man. It's good.
Same, man. It's the same. Just like I said, when you came up to me at that thing, and that's when it matters, because those are my people, right? Like that's my people, and I know they went through the shit, and they think if we're thinking the same way and we're winding up in the same place, we're doing something right.
That's right, bro.
So I'm proud of you too, and give my love to the family.
I will. Hey, man, keep in touch. Hit me up, and let's schedule another one, because I want to talk more and get into more shit.
Tom's on next week with the NFTs. He's the guy, the CPO with Yellow Heart. So maybe you can hop on for a minute or so. We'll talk.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you.
All right, have a good night, man.
Much love, Vinny. All right, brother. Take it easy.